All right, folks. It's your turn, man. I know people are pissed. Rightfully so. We're going to check in with the aquarium. A lot to discuss from last night. Clearly, it was a disaster. We'll start with the phones. People have been on hold a while. We'll go with Sean in Leesburg. Sean, hit us with your blame pie. How mad are you from last night, man?
Yeah, I'm so disappointed, but I want to say 80-20, coaches 80%, 20% players. And if the players aren't performing, then the coaches can pull them and next man up. I just don't understand. I'm not sure whether we come to a point where, well, the teams have figured us out and that old thing, last year we were new with the new offense and all that. And then I look at, Dan Quinn's year with the Cowboys and how the defense let the running down. Are we coming back into that pattern with this defense? And, Jaden, great kid, man. The effort, listen. But I get tired of the critics. The critics always say, oh, well, he's fragile. He's going to get broke up. I get tired of the critics, man. So, I try to turn things to a positive, and I look, next man up. We done been through this, embarrassed 4 times on national TV. I'm freaking pissed off about that. But next man up. Let's get these young players and see what we got. We done lost. Our shot for the wild card, no hope. So let's just see what we got and then try to improve, make changes, and do what we got to do and try to get better. And it's times like these that Art Monk, BMitch, Santana, and the old guard, I'm proud because this gives us a goal to get to where them fellas are and what they did. And it was great last night for Art Monk, and I just want to say that, and I hope Jaden's okay. And congratulations on you and BMitch on TV, bro. I enjoyed the show. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Sean. That's a pretty rational to call in on this Monday and talk about next man up. Let's see the young kids play. That's.
The whole thing of it is, there are a lot of people that want to yell and scream and curse, and they got their right to do that. But not everybody think like that all the time. Some people understand still that this thing, as bad as it's been, last year was not what everybody expected. That happened. And it was great. But they still got to build this thing. And this is nobody letting nobody off the hook or whatever. But, hell, I got a life, okay? And I'm not going to overly stress out about a football game because we've gotten to a point where we let that game overtake our whole damn our day, and I'm not going to do that. I'm pissed that they played that bad. I want them to play better. But with me calling in, and half the time the people that we see screaming, nobody know the hell they are anyway. We know that their avatar or name. And a lot of times their names are not what their real name is anyway. So if I do that, doesn't make the team better. And so the people that call in with the logical mindset, that don't make the team better either. But you know what? They are at a point where they allowed it to happen, and I'm sure they can go through there every day without having stress and problems.
I think if you're still pissed off from last night, that's fair. Just because
I'm not saying nobody can't be pissed off,
right?
But that's not the only way,
right?
Okay, so just because you're pissed off and yell louder doesn't make anything even better. It's not gonna make things change quicker.
Let's go to Trucker Dan. Trucker Dan, embarrassing night.
What's up, fellas?
In Landover. What's up?
It's an embarrassing night. As it was, man. I'm sad, That's pretty much that is, because, it ain't going our way this season. I can't really put the blame too much on DQ, man. The blame, I've been saying this for a long time, is on Adam Peters, because Adam Peters' job is to put a roster together, and then after you put that roster together, you hand it over to DQ and say, hey, win me a championship with this. Nobody can sit here and agree that Adam Peters did that this year. Now, last year, he did an absolutely terrific job. Like, he did. We almost won the championship in my mind. But he gambled too hard this season. And you can see the ripple effect is a domino effect. It started in the offseason, and that's what we're seeing right now. It took too long to sign the young man. And then, he put too much on five shoulders. And then Cliff is using the injuries as per se a reason not to call a better offense. Now, we all know he's a guru at what he's doing. But what he's been doing to me has been very, very, very mediocre. And that's really who my blame part falls on. Not DQ, but at the end of the day, he is the coach, and he's supposed to hold them guys accountable. And I think he's been too relaxed. But, next year, that's where my eyes is at. We just going to thug it out for the rest of the season and see what – next year, if it's the same thing, then they're really going to have to tear house. But for the moment, we just got to hold our head up high. Because, Eagles going to be talking trash, Cowboys going to be talking trash. It's all good. We know how to handle it. So keep our heads up, fellas, and we be all right.
All right, bro.
Thanks for the call, dude. It's such a disaster, and maybe the Jaden news is better than we think. Do you think there's a path for him not to go on IR because they have the bye week in there?
I think the way IR works with the 4 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 4.
Yeah, I think he's automatically on there. I would think he would be.
I do too. I think at this point you cannot. Jaden is a dude that always wants to play, but there's got to be some restraint by coaches in front office now because it's 3 different injuries now. It's 3 different injuries, 1 on each leg, and now his non-throwing elbow. Just give the young man some time. And I don't know that he'll. I'm not saying he's out for the year, but if that's the path it's on, I'm almost okay with it. The year is shot. You're 3-7. You're not chasing anything at this point. I'm curious about the athletic playoff projector tool that I like so much. The Commanders now have a 1% chance to make the playoffs. Even if they win the next 3, that would be beating the Lions, the Dolphins in Madrid, and then the Broncos after the bye. They still have less than 10% chance of making the playoffs. Last night, if you could have gotten a win, you get to 4-5. All right. Now you got the Lions coming to town. If they lose to the Lions, this thing is less than a 1%. It's just, you got to protect Jaden at this point. That is your franchise cornerstone. I think he needs to go on IR. Even if it's good news and he doesn't need surgery, it's just rest and recovery and rehab. Protect the young man. Because you didn't do it last night. And maybe you shouldn't have, but you certainly didn't. Let's go to Nate is in Gaithersburg. What's up, Nate?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Just like what Trucker Dan said, man, I think AP can't go unscathed. And you look at the pieces that we lost just from the offense, losing De'Ami Brown, he can take the top off. We don't really have that this year. And then just the defense last year, they had their holes, and then you lose a guy like Jeremy Chin. And this year with the tackling issues, the lack of speed, I think AP looked at last year and got a little comfortable. So we had a lot of cap. We didn't make the necessary moves. I think they're kind of looking like the Nationals a little bit, where they sign all these big names and think they can squeeze out a little bit left. But, we need some young talent. We need speed. And, I think we just got to go back to the drawing board with the scouting and everything. But, I think this year we just got to, next man up and just play with some pride at this point. I don't think it's really the players, and coaches got to be a little better and look at themselves in the mirror. But, I think AP's got to go back to the drawing board with next year and how they really scout and, hit the offseason.
It's a good call.
All right, bro.
Thank you, Nate. It's also with the trade deadline looming and knowing how many picks got sent away to acquire some of these veterans, I think you need to be. Last week we talked about the trade deadline. Let's see what happens in the Seattle game. After the Seattle game, you got to have your value, right? You got to set your market, but you got to be willing to discuss anything that comes in. Yeah. You need the lack of team speed. If you watched how Seattle played on the edges offensively, they had zero concerns about getting beat deep. Yeah. They just had zero concerns. And then when you can't run the ball on top of it, I really wonder which coordinator is in a worse spot. Which coordinator has performed worse. And maybe it's not as simple as blaming the coordinator, but
it's never that simple.
But damn, it looks bad on both sides of the ball.
It does.
I mean, I can give you empiric data that shows you how bad it is. I mean, they are now 22nd in points allowed, 19th in points scored, 28th in yards allowed defensively. They don't generate turnovers. Mikey got that second half pick. They're bad on third down. Last year, they were really good offensively on third down, sustain these long drives. They're not doing that.